Welcome to episode 5 in this series where we are building a web application in FlutterFlow. In this particular episode, we're going to start looking at the different test modes that are available within inside FlutterFlow to help support the running of your application. And of course, we're going to carry on building out our application by focusing on the left navigation bar as well. Remember what this series is all about. It's about learning fundamental FlutterFlow concepts, and at the same time, we are building an application together in this full walkthrough series. So without further ado, let's get into the episode and let's get cracking. So before we move further with our application build, let's talk a little bit about the different test modes that are available to us within inside of FlutterFlow itself. They're all occupying up in the top right hand corner here. You've got this option called a preview. Now, when I hit the preview option, what that is basically doing is providing another tab within inside the browser, and this allows me to get an instant feedback on the page that I'm currently working on. There is lots of limitations. You can see those within inside the known issues. You can just hit the option here and it will show you what will not be supported in this particular mode. So if you just simply want to quickly check to make sure that your UI is playing out the way you would like it to, then the preview mode is perfect, and also supports various sizes as well. So I can go up here, I can just hit the tablet view and I kind of get this like portrait view of a tablet. If I want to go to mobile, I can choose that. Now in our case, this is not going to look particularly good because we're not handling anything responsively within our application on a mobile device. But of course, you can change the sort of sizes here. You can do all the kind of things you can in other modes. So it's definitely well worth checking your application on a regular basis here. Up the top here, you've got the switch to dark mode. You can quickly toggle that. You can see what your application is, themes are going to play out within inside your application, how your widgets are responding to that change in your theme. So definitely I encourage you to check frequently when it comes to the theming, if that is something you are supporting within inside your application. We've also got the display the resize handlers as well. Now this is really handy because if you are working in a more responsive way and you're looking to check to make sure that your responsive design is playing out, then by choosing the resize handles, you can kind of go sort of wide and you can go narrow here, and you can then see how your user interface adapts to the use of those kind of handles here. So always encourage you to do that as well. And we've also got the adjust a text scale option as well. Now, obviously different users will have different scales set, no doubt, within inside the use of their typeface within inside their browsers or their mobile devices. It's really important as well that we check on a regular basis just to make sure that our application is also responding to the increase on those sizes and nothing untoward is happening within inside your actual design as well. So that is the preview mode within inside of FlutterFlow. So the next mode that you'll be spending most of your time in is actually the test mode within inside of FlutterFlow. Now that is the mode that is going to allow you to really more thoroughly test your application from both a visual perspective, but of course when you'll be navigating through different pages, or you'll be pulling in data from external services such as the database like Firebase or Supabase, or through APIs. This is where you'll spend most of your time. Now the test mode is activated up here on the right hand side. You can see we've got this like Thunderbolt. Let's just hit that. This will now bring up a brand new browser window, and it's going to take probably between 2 to 3 minutes to actually to kind of build your application, to kind of provide all of the resources that's available within inside the FlutterFlow platform to obviously then fire that up. Now, if you've got a fairly small project, this will actually be quicker than 2 to 3 minutes. But of course, as you start building out more pages and the complexity of your application increases, then generally expect it to be at least 2 to 3 minutes for it to then fire up. Once it's then fired up, you've then got about 13 minutes within inside that session period there to test your application. The reason why it's set as 30 minutes, and that is because on the FlutterFlow platform, it's quite a resource hungry service to provide to users. So of course 30 minutes is the right amount of time. Once that kind of times out, then of course you can then fire up a brand new 30-minute session, and you can then go again and carry on testing your application. The great thing about the test mode is that and this is the most important part, is it allows you to then make changes inside FlutterFlow, and then you can do an instant reload, and then you actually then see the results of those changes within inside the test mode itself. So this gives you the best representation during your building of your application in terms of how your application would work. All the actions would work, the page navigations would work, as I said before, and you'll see true data that would come into your test application. So there's limited options now here, of course. We don't have the same options in the preview, like putting the resize handles on or changing your theme or anything like that. But one thing you can do is obviously is select the responsive sizes of your application. So you can check the device size here, like mobile and sort of tablet view here. You can see here you're getting a little bit more feedback here. We've got some overflow issues. We've got some issues with inside our UI. You'll be able to see those represented here as well. So that's the mode that you will be in the most. Just one final thing to mention actually is that little moon icon up the top there. Really, that's not changing your application to be light or dark mode. What that's doing is that's changing the overall kind of light theme of FlutterFlow itself, just in case you would like to run that in that particular sort of theme. Now, I like to run mine in dark mode because I just like to have that high contrast and it's less strain on the eyes when I've been working with FlutterFlow for a little while. So that is test mode. Once you are finished with your session, you can hit the end session, but quite typically what you would do is you would leave that session running. You would then go back to FlutterFlow. You then carry on making some changes to your application. You'll go back to the test mode. You'll hit the instant reload option, and then within about 10 seconds, your changes would then get reflected within inside your user interface inside this test mode here. So that's pretty well much what we will be doing for most of this particular video with using test mode. So back then with inside of FlutterFlow, up the top right there, you can see that my test mode is still active. And the way I know that is this green fill. It's gradually working its way down here from the right hand side. You can see here I've probably got about maybe, 10 minutes left with inside my test mode session there. As it starts getting a little bit closer to this edge here, you'll see that it will then go amber, like an amber color. And then once it then times out completely, it will go red. So you just simply hit the lightning bolt and a brand new session will then be started. So that is the test mode. That's pretty good. Just one other little point to make out about test mode is the fact is if you have any project issues, so for example, you have like a little problem in your application, then this will be a red here. You need to correct that really before you then go into the test mode, because if you haven't activated the test mode, you'll find that it probably won't start up. It will come up with this nasty looking, maybe red error with inside the test mode itself to say that there's a problem in your project. Of course, if you then have the test mode running and then you try to do an instant reload, you'll then see another error that would likely come up. So just bear that in mind that you do need to correct your project issues before you are running your application inside the test mode option there. So just a couple of other little modes to talk about very quickly before we start actually getting our hands dirty again with inside the application. The other mode that's available to you is what's called run mode. Once you've kind of done all of your application build and you're ready to more conclusively test your application, a little bit more closer to when your users will get their hands on your application, there is a mode called run mode, which you can actually fire up. So with inside this little drop down here, there's this option called a run there. You can just hit that little play button and that will then bring up a brand new browser window, and then you'll see something very similar to what you saw with inside test mode, but without the instant reload capabilities. So that's going to allow you to then more fully test your application from end to end, just to make sure you are happy with everything before you perhaps then publish that to the web as a web application, or you then start to build your application for your users if they're using a mobile application. So just do that, and then that will then fire up. I'll show you what that looks like. I've got a couple of versions here that I've actually already just kind of built. If I just hit this little link here, that will then load up that run mode, and you can see here that it gives you then a very, very similar to view than if you was running with inside the actual test mode itself. So just that little mode there, and it's got all the other options available to you at the top here, just to be kind of change the sizes and all that kind of stuff. So you've got all those available options as well. And again, you've got the known issues. So of course there's less known issues here. So there's more that you can do with inside run mode than perhaps if the other modes are actually available to you. So moving back to FlutterFlow, just one other to tell you about here, and that is the actual publish to the web. That is the one that's going to then allow you to run your application with inside a FlutterFlow application URL. That's the mode where you can then start sharing that out to your colleagues or your friends. And just by hitting that little option here, that will then do that. Now I've already done that. You'll see here, if I just hit this little option here, I'm going to get that full browser view. This is the view that my users would see if they're running this application in a web browser. There's other options as well that's available to you. You've got this little built-in FlutterFlow sort of banner that sort of sits down here. I think they called it the watermark. We can actually remove that. I'll show you where those details are changed. If I move back over to the little cog here, we go into the web publishing option. you can see here that I can actually remove that myself. So you've got this like show watermark. I've already had it removed on one of my versions. You just need to then toggle that off. You would have to publish that again for that to then be removed. But to be honest with you, with all of any changes that you would make here, whether you're changing like the icons or you're changing titles and all that kind of stuff, you would have to hit the publish option to make sure that gets reapplied. One other little bit to mention about as well is, and that is the FlutterFlow URL. You can see here it's got a temporary URL that's been sort of applied here. I can make a change to that. As long as I come up with something unique, I can then republish that, and then my application will then be available on a brand new URL again, which you can then share to your colleagues or your friends. So that's pretty well much it with inside the web publishing section. I just wanted to briefly show you that. Let's now move on with the video. Let's now start working on the application a bit more and start adding some more widgets to our UI. Let's go and do that now. Okay, so here is the running version of our application. You can recall here that we've got this little plus option that's just here. When I hit the little plus, then we've kind of got these other widgets that get displayed underneath. Let's now start working on this particular area of the application, and let's start getting some widgets added to our UI. Okay, so let's select our top navigation column just there. Now we're going to now add another column in here that's going to be basically the parent of the child, which is going to be an icon button that we're going to put in there. Now the icon button is that black circular button with the little plus in the middle. So hit the little plus here, hit on the column, and then we need to give our column a name. So I'm just going to move over here. Vertical note selector column, I'm just going to call that. Just hit enter, and then now I'm going to add the little plus here. Let's choose and do a search for the icon button here. So an icon button is really, as it sounds, it's going to be an icon that is acting like a button that a user can actually select. Now the look and feel of it there is not quite what we want. Now what we want to do here at this particular stage is we want to create some custom colors for this particular icon button, and the best place to do that is actually within inside our theme itself, because it could be that if I switch this then to a dark mode, it might be that you might want to have a white button background with then maybe a like a plus being like a darker color. So we can do that actually within inside our actual theme. So just move over here to the theme settings here, choose the actual colors option here, and this is the palette that we have seen previously in this particular series, but we can now add some custom colors into this, and this is the power of using the FlutterFlow theming system. Hit the add color here, choose add color again. We're going to do two colors here, one for the background and one for the foreground. So here we're just going to just double click on this particular color here, and we want to change this now to a black. So let's just move the little circle down here to the corner here, and just make sure that's fully black there. All of the zeros, that's perfect. So use color, and then here this particular color is then going to act as the actual the actual text color, which is going to be the icon color in this particular case. Select this color here, move this to a white like that, and just say use color. Just say yes to that option that comes up, and we're going to give our custom colors a name. So I'm going to call this one activate button background, something like that. Just say rename, and I'm going to choose a different name for this one as well. Activate button text, something like that. Just hit rename. So these are now available to us in the light mode and the dark mode. I can come down here, I can just simply now choose the same colors for these. So I think that's the black just there. In fact, it's not. Let's just move down here. Let's choose the black there. All of the zeros, say use color, just say yes to that. And then this one here, we can then select this to be the white as well. So what this basically is allowing us to do is that when we then are providing the ability for our users to switch between light mode and dark mode, we can then change the colors of the actual button if we would like to have maybe like a white background and then a black text color for the actual plus of the actual icon. But we're going to keep them the same for now, but you could change that if you wanted to in the future. So let's move back then to the widget tree here. Let's just move ourselves out. Let's now apply those colors to this particular icon button. So with the icon button selected, just go down here. Now the fill color, we just need to select that, and we're going to choose the custom color that's just here. And you can see here, we can just hover over these and we can see the name of the colors. Now we want to choose the background color just there. And then with the actual icon here, we're going to change the icon color where it says primary text. We're just going to move over now, choose the white. And now you can see now how we've got that black background with our plus. There's a couple of other changes that we need to make. We don't want to have the border color, so just select that and hit the clear color option. Let's remove the border width. We're not interested in a border. The font size, the button size, we're just going to change to 44, just make it a little bit larger. But with our border radius, we're going to want to increase this to 22, just to make sure that our button is much more circular. If this was like 20 or 18, you'll see what will happen if I just move my mouse away here. You see it's kind of got that sort of circular kind of look to it. So by increasing that up to then 22, that means that we've got a perfect circle there. So that is pretty well much our button in place there. Now, of course, it's a little bit close to where it says My Notes. We're going to want to sort of space that out a little bit. So let's just move back up the widget tree. Let's choose the top navigation column. There it is. So we can just move down here. We can choose the item spacing. If we say 60, that will then bring that down nice and low there, which is a great little space between the two. Now, we're not really going to contain too much in here for now, but just by putting 60 there, that just means we've got that space that we need that matches kind of this sort of title text on the right-hand side. Okay, so now it's time to add in the additional widgets now on this particular section. So we've got the note selector column there. We now need to add a brand new column in here. Now, this is the column that is going to contain the little circular options that we have for the different types of notes that we're going to allow our application to create. So with that, the vertical note selector column selected, just hit the little plus here. Let's add a brand new column in and let's give our column a name. This one's going to be called Note Color Column, just like that. Hit the enter, and of course I now need to add some brand new widgets in here. So these little selectors are all going to be containers. So let's hit the little plus here. Let's add a container in here, and you can see this is going to be oversized by default. We need to change some properties here on the right hand side. Let's just scroll that down. So let's just change the container properties there to the circular shape. That allows us to give us a diameter, and we're just going to put 24 in here. I think that's going to be good enough. Now, just for a temporary basis, let's give this just a standard color. Let's just choose a primary for now. We're going to come back very, very shortly, and we're going to adjust these colors to be more dynamic within inside our application. So we can come back and do that. The rest of the settings are looking pretty good there. We don't need to make any changes there. Let's move back over to our note color column here. Let's now just move over here to the item spacing, just say 16, just like that. Now, if I was to come here and, in fact, let's just give this one a name actually. Let's just quickly select that container. Let's change the name here. I'm just going to call this one Circle Container, just like that, and hit the enter key. So you can see now we've got one there. Now what I could do is I could just come here and I can actually now start duplicating these. I'm just going to do that so we get a visual representation of what our 5 circles are going to look like that. Now you can see here I've got some, I need to sort of handle some spacing as well. That's not ideal. So we'll just come to the note, the vertical note selector column there. Let's put an item space in here of 60. And you can see now that just nicely drops down in that particular position. Okay, so that's all looking pretty good. There's a couple of little observations here that we just need to make sure that we do. Where it says icon button, we need to give this an actual name, actually something that we just forgot to do. So let's call this add note button. I'll call it add note icon button. In fact, just like that. Let's just hit enter. And just one other little thing I've just spotted down here actually is this particular divider, something that we added in one of the previous episodes. It's not quite right actually. It's a little bit too wide. We need to bring this in from the left and from the right. So with that divider selected, if we go here where it says indent, let's change that to 32. That will now give it a gap of 32 pixels on the left hand side, and the end indent we just need to put 32 as well. So I just move away from there now. You'll see now that subtle line, you can just about make it out here, is now nicely centered just above those kind of sort of theme sort of selector icons there. Okay, so I think that's pretty well much it for this particular episode. Our UI is now starting to take shape. In the next episode, we're going to start looking at components. Components are going to be really important to us, not just about simplifying the kind of the widget tree that we have on the left hand side, but components do play a really important part when you are building FlutterFlow applications. And I think that when you start looking at the way the components are going to be used within inside this particular applications, you'll be able to see exactly how they can be applied in your own projects too. So hopefully you've enjoyed this particular episode. We've certainly covered a lot of ground here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. So see you soon.